pleasure. So we know you as the founder and creative behind the massive brand Zephans and Co.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh, awesome. So we just want to know, who is Nkiru?
Wow, that is actually not a question I get asked often. It's always like, oh, tell us about Zephans. Nobody really wants to know about me. I mean, like, yeah, I'm Nkiru. Oh my goodness. Thinking about it, I feel like Zephans is such a huge part of my identity. And when people ask me, okay, what's your name? Like, what do you do? I just be like, oh, my name is Nkiru. I'm founder of Zephans & Co. Oh, Zephans & Co. is, a Nigerian ready-to-wear brand focused on women. Oh, yeah, who is Nkiru? Ha! I feel like you put me on the spot. Okay, so Nkiru Achukwu is, founder of Zephans & Co. I'm also a mom. I feel like that's my best job till date. I have a little girl. Um, I'm, oh gosh, Teju, this is difficult. Like, jeez, this is difficult. Like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? I'm a mom. I'm a sister.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me make it easier.
Yeah,
for
make
you.
it easy for me,
Because
please.
let me make it easier. So, take us back. Take us back to your childhood.
Okay.
So right now, yes, you're the founder of
Zephans
Zephans
&
and
Co.
Co. So, but tell us about your childhood and some of
Okay.
the things that
Inspired you. Okay.
got you to where you are today.
Okay, so I would say that my biggest inspiration, to be honest, is my mom. Growing up, my mom was a fashion. In fact, she used to go to fashion school when we were kids. So she would come back, and then they had to do all these assignments. So she would come back, she would always have to sketch, and then after sketching, she would cut the fabric and then start making the clothes. And I just used to be so intrigued by how she was able to just get plain fabric, cut it up, and before I know it, it's something that I could wear. So my mom was really like my biggest inspiration. I always knew from being obvious, from seeing my mom do that, I always knew that it was something I was going to eventually do, because me watching her do that will now make me go into her closet and take out her clothes and cut them up as well. But I didn't know how to use the sewing machine.
Oh, wow.
I'll just use like needle and thread. And she encouraged me. She always used to be like, oh no, don't cut it like that. Cut it this way. Do you need buttons? And then when she's coming back from fashion school, she'll stop by the market and buy me buttons to match what. And it was her clothes I was cutting up, but she didn't mind. So yeah, my mom actually was like my biggest inspiration to start to go into fashion, in the first place.
Clearly, you had inspiration. You were literally born into fashion, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so, can you just tell us a bit more about your background? Was your dad also interested in fashion in any regard?
Absolutely not. My dad was like a full-time businessman. Like he was an industrialist. So he didn't really care for fashion. Back in the day, fashion wasn't seen as something that could really earn you a living. It was seen as a hobby. So then when you hear people who are fashion designers, it's like, okay, side hustle type of thing. So, but that's my dad's and that was my dad's preconception about fashion, even when I started Zephans & Co. So then when I'd be like, oh, I want to start making clothes, my mom was fully supportive. My mom was like, she was behind me. My dad would just be like, oh, are you applying for jobs? Are you trying to get jobs? Have you, go and finish your youth service, try and get jobs. So I actually worked. I worked in corporate for 2 years, maybe. Yeah, I was marketing for an entertainment show, and it was good until I started getting harassed by my boss, and I was just like, yeah, this is not for me. But while I was working, I started doing buying and selling. I used to buy like stuff from ASOS. I used to buy stuff from Zara. Then it was easy to ship, it was easy to ship to Nigeria. And that thing was, in Nigeria, I could never find pants that were my length. Because I could never find pants. It's always jumping, and if it was long enough, it just didn't fit right, So that's why I was always like, okay, surely there's a gap, So I started buying things and selling, and I used to buy for tall girls, I'd buy like dresses that were like perfect for tall girls, and that's how I even started to build a community way before I even ventured. I started Zephans & Co. Right. And then when it became hard for, the FX changing, the economy like becoming unstable, it was now more difficult to buy things from abroad. it was now more expensive, and I was like, yeah, something has to be done, because then customers will be like, oh, new stock, nothing new, you don't have anything, you traveled, I was like, no, I have to do something about this. And because I always knew that despite everything that I had going on in the background, my end goal from the time I was a teenager was to have people wear my own clothes.
Wow.
Like, I always knew, like, if you see my books from secondary school, I used to sketch. I used to sketch a lot. I'd sketch, I'll color them. Like, I used to be like, oh my God, if I made this into a dress, it would be so nice. I had, when I was done with secondary school, I had a tailor that any event I wanted to go to, I would go to her and tell her this is what I want to wear, and she will make it for me overnight. So I knew that, and then when I go out, people will be like, this your dress is so nice. So where did you make it? So I just knew that this is something I wanted to. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how to. I knew I didn't want to hire tailors immediately, because that was going to take
Wherever.
my time. And the beauty about working in corporate before I started my business was, a lot of things were clear. I knew that if I immediately went to hire tailors, and I won't be able to market the brand as well as I wanted. So I knew it was going to take up my time. It was going to take up creativity time as well. So what I wanted was to find a company that was going to produce for me. I'll give them my designs, they produce, and then I would spend the better part of my time marketing. And that's what I,
Because you had the experience.
exactly, but God was so good. God was so good. That was exactly what happened. I had I had gone around, checked the internet, going everywhere, like, oh, where am I going to find a factory? Most of the factories I was seeing at the time were for uniforms. They couldn't create kind of like, exactly, it was just always straight, uniform, this, that, or something, I just never found a factory that could produce for us. And one day, I was just in my sister's car, and we're riding, I can't remember where we were going. And then I just changed the radio station. And on the radio was this woman talking about how they have a garment factory,
What?
where they produce for fashion designers. We were, at the time, said they were producing for Woodin. I turned up the volume, like I must say to, because I needed to get her contact.
What are you looking for?
On the radio there, I got her number, and I realized that I found out she was just 20 minutes away from my house. The next day, I showed up. I showed up, and that was it.
Wow.
That was how we started. So for 2 years, she was producing for us up until we're now ready to start producing ourselves. Yeah, so that's really the story.
That's spectacular.
Yeah.
What are the odds that you would literally be in the car, and then what you're looking for literally,
I
like,
know.
that is wild.
I know. And I feel like, I'm sorry, I always like to bring Christianity into it, but I'm just like, I feel like nothing confirmed to me that I was on the right path more than that. I just felt like it was God. It was God just saying, okay, this is the thing that has been disturbing you. Take.
That is amazing.
That thing it changed my life. It literally changed the trajectory of my life, because it was mind blowing. When I got home, I told my mom. My mother couldn't believe it. She was like, let them do the samples first, then the show. And then the samples started to come out. It was looking good. I'm like, what?
Because it was like too good to be true.
It
Like,
was
what
too
are the
good to be
odds?
true,
Yeah.
because like on the radio,
Wow.
But yeah, that's how we started.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's how we started.
Wow. And so you decided to use them for 2 years.
Yes.
And then you felt
yes.
So what informed that decision? Why did you feel like you were then ready to establish your own production?
To be honest, I feel like we're forced, and that's what I always say. Sometimes when it's time for you to grow, things become like what you're used to becomes uncomfortable. So it happened that, as much as I would never take away the fact that they were very useful to us when we started, but we got to a point where they could no longer meet our demands.
Wow.
Because we weren't the only brand they were producing for. They were producing for other Nigerian, because even I at that time introduced some other people to them. So when you would come, they'll be like, oh, we can't meet up, we can't this, we can't that. There was a time, I think it was the year of 2018, December, we had a pop-up shop, because then we didn't have the store on the island. We were still on the mainland, and the bulk of our customers were on the island. So whenever we would have like a Christmas drop or like a summer drop, we had to do a pop-up shop on the island so that it'd be easy for our customers to come to us. So we had the Christmas pop-up scheduled, and we had spent so much money marketing, hired models, done all the shoots and everything, because they had done our samples. And then it was time for them to deliver for the pop-up shop, and they couldn't even deliver up to 20%.
Wow.
So all that money that we had spent marketing, and then I knew it was time. Like nobody doesn't take
Yeah.
a magician to
Engineer.
tell
Yeah.
exactly to tell you that it's time. So I mean, no hard feelings, but we knew that it was time for us. Yeah, and that's really how we started.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing. And you know, it's quite interesting that you mentioned that because to be honest, I would say a significant number of designers that I've spoken to, one of the major challenges that most people have highlighted is that particular aspect of the business in terms of skilled labor
Yeah.
and making sure that you actually have tailors that are doing very good work,
Yeah.
good quality control, you know.
Yeah.
So what was that process like for you?
Okay, so we started small. I didn't just go and hire 10 tailors. I started
Okay.
with 2.
Okay.
You know, started to manage it myself, and then from 2 we went to 4. I was still managing quality control myself, but by the time we were at 8, I knew that I couldn't manage quality control myself, so I had to hire a production manager, who then hired an assistant who could help with quality control. So I think that I'm a very strong believer of starting small, because I feel like that way you're able to manage your processes and then build as you grow. So with every new hire, you know that okay, certain things need to change. With every new sewing machine, every new tailor that joins the company, you know, okay, are we still able to manage quality like we were doing in the past? And then if you're not, then you know you have to hire another quality person. You know, so yeah, that I think that that's what has helped us you know, still retain the quality that our customers who were with us from the beginning were still able to retain that kind of quality, because we didn't just rush and hire, oh, let's just start sewing. You know, we did it small, because even while we started hiring our own tailors, we were still using the other people.
Okay.
Yes,
So it just
we were
needed
still
like a portion
yeah. So
of.
it was just like, okay, you do this,
Okay.
we'll do
That
this.
makes
You know,
sense.
so we're still managing, and then till we got to the point. It didn't just happen overnight. You know, maybe we started with 2 tailors in 2018. By 2020, maybe we're already on 20 tailors.
Wow.
You know, so I would say that it was by 2020 we moved to like a proper garment factory, because that 2018 when we started, we were still sewing at the store, right? The store was like our first store was a 3-bedroom, so we just like got 2 sewing machines, put 2 tailors in there. We didn't, but by 2020 we actually moved to a warehouse that was like a proper garment. In fact, that's where we still are now. You know, so then we had, I think when we moved, we're on 20, but now collectively we're probably like 97.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So you can see that it's a step,
Proper
like
growth.
it's just like little steps until we get here. And that's how the brand has grown, to be honest. We didn't just wake up and rush and start. Everything has been step by
A
step.
gradual process.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And, you know, well done. Like, that
you.
is no easy feat,
Thank
especially
you.
in, you know, in an environment where, you know, this is like a major challenge that people have been
Yeah.
facing. So, you know, and it's interesting because when people talk about Zephans and Co, they literally, some people describe the brand as the Zara of Nigeria or Africa, so to speak. And so, you know, clearly there are similar modules that Zephans has adopted. And so are you able to share with us in terms of like operations, what are some of the things that you've been able to do to scale at the to the point where you are at today?
To be honest, I would say like our scaling has also been due to demand,
Okay.
to be honest, because you can't scale if there's no demand.
Right.
Because you get a lot of people who come and say, oh, my friend referred me, my friend referred me, my friend this, my friend that. If you check at the beginning, well, not now, because even Zara is changing. To be honest, Zara, when I was at Zara, I read every article, every book, everything that I could find
You
on
did your research.
yes, on that man. You know, I did my research, how he started, everything I did, and I was like, okay, what is it about Zara that all these other brands have not been able to hack? You know, and I realized that their customer retention rate is so high. And that's because they're very customer focused. You know, they are very like they'll do anything to make you happy. You know, at that time that I was starting, you know. So that's the model. That's what I thought about, because I'm like, if customers are happy, they'll refer you to other people. They will come back.
Absolutely.
You know, and you want to keep customers coming back. You know, every time you hear about Instagram vendors. I have my own experiences of Nigerian Instagram vendors. I've had my own, and I'm just like, how are you running a business like this? The way they talk to customers, I would, I like sometimes I'm like, I wish I knew the owner of this brand so that I can just be
Give
like,
them that feedback,
because
right?
it's not about money.
Yeah.
You want customers to stay. You know,
Right.
you want a lot of your revenue will come from customers that keep coming back.
If they don't come back, there's no business.
There's no business.
Right.
You know, it's much easier to get a new to retain an existing customer than to get new customers. Customer acquisition is so hard. So if you're able to retain the ones that are already existing, 50% of your trouble or of your revenue challenges are sorted. And how do you retain customers? Yeah, customer service. The first thing we do is training, because I always let them know the customer number one is always right, and Nigeria, first of all, everybody is stressed. So I'm not going to try to give you money if you're going to stress me out. You have to make my shopping experience pleasant so that I look forward to coming back. Because that's another thing. If I come to shop and then you're telling me, you're giving me an attitude, or you're not helping me, you're not telling me, oh, this looks good on me, or this is what would suit you, or you're not like, just helpful, I'm not going to want to come back. We tend to go to places where we feel welcome. So if I've come to your store and I don't feel welcome there, I'm definitely not, chances are I wouldn't even give you my money, So yeah, the most important thing for them, first of all, is customer service training. And thankfully, because we always ask our customers, how can we be better? What can we do better? What will make you feel better? Thankfully, we always get that, oh, the girls at the store are amazing. Like a lot of times we have people even come into the DMs and just be like, oh, mention this person's name, mention that, like, this girl, I even had to tip her, you guys are doing amazing. And then we have other people who run businesses come and ask, oh, how did you get your girls to be this, like this, like the customer friendly, they really understand how, like, what it means to really like take care of a customer. So yeah, those are the things that I would say has really helped, because it's not magic, to be honest. I know that the designs are nice, the designs will attract people, but it's really the experience that will keep them. Yeah. So that's
a total experience there.
Yes.
That makes sense. So in terms of operations, do you have like an in-house designer, or, what are some of the things or some of the steps that you can kind of walk us through for viewers that are interested in starting a business today?
Okay, so I come up with the majority of our designs.
Okay.
And then we also have customers who say, and we're very, like I said, we're very customer focused. We have customers who say, oh, can you bring this back? So designs from like maybe 2016. Oh, can you bring this back?
Do you do this through surveys, or this is just general feedback?
General feedback.
Okay.
General feedback. They always, one thing about Zephans babes, they know they have a voice. So they really speak. They tell us what they want to see. They tell us what they want, how they want it. Oh, this would have been nice if it was with pants, and then we do with pants, and then they're happy. Oh, this would have been nice if it was longer, and then we do. Like, so we really listen to our customers,
Give them what they want.
Yes, and that's because at the end of the day, I might want that well the clothes, so you have to give them what they're asking for. And then usually, I mean, it's not to say that there are times where we've tried certain things that it didn't flop. Yeah, but maybe 7 times out of 10, they have been right. So yeah, I would say that helped. Then in terms of operations, we scale by demand.
Okay.
Right? We don't just wake up and say we're going to go and open another store. We opened a store in Abuja last year because
Congratulations.
Thank you. We realized that, okay, there was a need for it, and it has been amazing. So we're not just going to wake up and say we're going to open a store in Abuja because it looks good. No. We only like operate when we know, okay, we only expand when we know that it is time. And like I said, expansion comes from demand, and that demand comes from, in our experience, customer retention and customer referrals, and just, giving people an all-round shopping experience. It's not to say that we've not had customers with bad experiences, but what I know that we strive to do is, how can we make it better? I always I tell my like our team, like when we have our meetings, like they're doing us a favor. They're doing us a favor. There's so many fashion brands in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about other international, like the foreign ones. There's so many other brands. There's so many other brands with better pricing.
So you're saying don't follow trends. Like
yeah,
literally wait and take a step back and determine what your business requires
yeah,
at that point in time.
yeah. Because like we live in an era, because of how social media is set up now, it always looks like everybody's always announcing something big.
Yeah.
Right? There's always something new. Oh, there's this new. Oh, this person has announced this. Oh, this person has said this.
Yeah.
And then to an upcoming fashion designer or someone who's budding, you start to feel like you're not doing enough. You start to feel like, oh, when is it going to be my turn? So I would say to like any up and coming fashion entrepreneur, do not follow trends. Like just follow your own path. Everybody's path is different.
Absolutely.
And even if it seems like, oh, your own is taking time. There was a time I felt like that. It took us about 4 years to finally get to a point where I said, okay, yeah, we're in business. 2020, that's when, 4 years. It took us 4 years. It was the year 2020 that I would say we finally feel like we were in business. So as much as it looks like, oh, this person is doing this person, you get lost. You get lost, and then you won't even be able to remember what your own source is.
Yeah.
Because then you're trying to be like everybody else.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, like it's so important. It is such a big advice, and it's something that I wish someone gave me, because I learned, I felt a lot of pressure when I was starting. I didn't have any mentors in the industry, because at that time, we weren't a lot of ready-to-wear brands then. I didn't have anybody to ask questions. I didn't have anybody to talk to about like the way I was feeling, but now I have a lot of mentees under me. So I always, and I see they also feel that pressure. Maybe someone just started yesterday and it already looks like the person has gathered so much momentum, and they're like, why is it happening for this person? Why is it not happening for me the way it's happening for them? And I always just say, be patient. As long as you're doing what you're called to do, you will succeed. It might take a longer time, or you might just need to pivot, or maybe like do something different. Always sit down with your brand, like sit down with it and ask yourself, what can I do for it to be better? Instead of looking at what everybody is doing. Because then you've lost your identity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an advice that I feel like is so important for up and coming fashion entrepreneurs.
Fantastic. And I think you've really you've anchored something there. Like, so with that being said, what is your why? What do you go back to every time you're thinking about making changes about the business? What do you go back to like your North Star, so to speak, in terms of?
So I would say that, when I started, the focus or the vision was, I wanted to create a brand that was like that kind of celebrated Nigerian craftsmanship, but with modern day silhouettes. I don't know if that made sense. Like, I wanted it to still have, I wanted it to still have that Nigerian identity, but in a modern silhouette, right? Like when I look at a piece, I want you to know that, oh yeah, this is made in Nigeria. So either from the print or, like the kind of fabric, or like, I want you to know that, okay, like what I'm wearing, you can see a lot of Yoruba phrases or words on it. So, and the dress is like, you can wear this dress in Paris, you can wear this dress anywhere.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted something that still identified with home. And that's really what it is for me. I don't want to ever lose that identity. I don't want to ever lose because I don't want to ever lose touch with home. Yeah, so that's what it is for me.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So what would you say is the number one challenge that a lot of businesses are not aware of that they should actually try?
Would I say that they're not aware? Okay, maybe I'm not aware of. Oh, the costing. And I say that because of my mentees again. A lot of time they say we're making money, but we don't see the money in the bank. And that's because you're not costing right. A lot of times people just say, okay, the fabric costs 10 naira and the tailor was 10 naira. That's 20 naira. That's my cost of production. They're not factoring all the variables or your variable costs. You're only putting like you're not even your fixed costs. You're not factoring it in. You're only putting the price of your. So by the time, even if you say you want to mark it up by 100%, a lot of your costs has not been put into the. And you know, it's funny that you asked this question because just I think it was last month, the last class that we had was on costing. And then I got an email yesterday of from one of my mentees, and she was just like, "This changed my life."
Wow.
You know, because there she wasn't including her rent, she wasn't including her petrol, the petrol that she was,
diesel,
you know, she was, she wasn't including even her time because you have to pay yourself.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
but now that she's done it, she sat down with her and she's done it. She, you know, then priced right. Now she has money in the bank.
Fantastic.
Because that way you're just selling. Yeah, money is coming in, but because you have to rinse and repeat, you can't keep any money. You can't save.
Yeah.
You know, so and there's no growth. But now I got that email. I was so excited. I was so happy because that is something that I realized a lot of people. That's a lot of that. In fact, someone I know who has been in this business 9 years was still making that mistake. Wow. Yes. Wow. So yeah, I think that costing is a very
one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And what advice would you give, talking about costing here, what advice would you give business owners in terms of, because of the fluctuation in terms of, you know, the valuation of the naira, the dollar and everything? How has that, you know, how have you been able to adjust?
To be honest, we adjust. Let me say we adjust. It's unfortunate. Our economy is so unstable. So a lot of times we have to adjust quarterly. Sometimes lesser, but a lot of times higher. Because of how the dollar changes. Our business is really, really dependent on importing things from abroad, from India, from China. And so we have to change money all the time. So if dollar is going up, it means that the cost of importing things is higher. If it's going down, then it means it's lower. So sometimes we take prices up and sometimes we take prices down. It's unfortunate. Nobody wants to do that, but these are the prices that you have to pay in an unstable economy, unfortunately.
So a really nice module that Zephans has incorporated is influencer marketing.
Yeah.
And I know you had mentioned earlier that you had some sort of background in marketing. You had marketing experience.
Yes.
So I can see how that ties into what you're doing with the brand. So can you speak more on that?
To be honest, I would say that at the time that we started influencer marketing, like doing like collections with celebrities, nobody was doing it then. So I didn't really know what people were doing. Was, oh, they would just send like a piece to like a and I just thought about like, how can we make it bigger? How can we make it better? Because then when people wear, like celebrities wear our clothes and tag us, you would see like a spike in like that item that he wore, or even like maybe like followers or just people inquiries and everything. So I just really thought about it, like, how can we make it better? How can we make it bigger? And that was when I thought about doing one with Nicole. This was 2022 December. We thought about doing one with Nicole because she was already a friend of the brand. People knew her. She used to wear Zephans and Co a lot. And we approached her, told her about doing a collection together, and she was so ecstatic. She was like, yeah, absolutely. And what that did was, we did it, and what that did was, it opened Pandora's box. Like, the possibilities were endless.
At that point,
I could not believe how good
the response
was. And I couldn't believe why I hadn't thought about it sooner. You know, it was such, the spike in our sales that month was ridiculous.
Wow.
Everything sold out within like 48 hours.
What?
Yeah, and this was like a whole drop, like a whole, like we produced more than we had ever, like.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything was gone in 48 hours. And by February, we did one with Osas. By March, we did another one with Shola Shobowale for Mother's Day. And I just knew that, you know what, this thing that is here to stay.
Yeah.
You know, it's such, it's been such a huge, would I say, marketing channel for Zephans and Co. It has opened us up to many markets. It has opened us up to many countries. You know, like Osas, we didn't realize how big of an American following that she had. And then doing the partnership we had. So with Osas, we did it multiple times. Wow. Yeah. And then currently we're working with Bisola Ayola. Bisola is, she's phenomenal. She's literally phenomenal. She's every brand's dream. Like, you know, when you're thinking of a model, an influencer to use, Bisola is that person, because she would literally carry
everything
on her head. I'm not joking. She does it like, I know, yeah, we pay them for these things, but she does it like she genuinely wants you to win, you know. And so, like, we recently sponsored a movie that we co-sponsored a movie that she's an executive producer.
That's awesome.
So when she reached out to us, it was a no-brainer. She was like, she reached out to us, she came, we were having this and what was amazing about it, or what was even like what further like drove us to do it was the executive producers are all women. So it was like a women-led you know, I was just like, sign us up, you know, and then we're doing a collection for that. And I have no doubt because even like the first announcement that we did, the responses are already like amazing. And I mean, already at the point where I'm just like, "Ah, I hope we have enough, you know." So as much as it's good marketing for Zephans and Co, I also like I like that kind of partnership because it also like highlights what we love. It highlights community, it highlights women, you know. It's very like because I'm very big on women-led businesses, you know. I just love it. Because I love to see us win. I love to see women win, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Very
Yeah.
well said. So in conclusion, you know, I have to ask you about the future of the brand. What legacy do you have in mind for Zephans and Co?
Well, I mean, the future right now, we're in 52 countries. Like we have
Ooh,
repeat customers in
that's awesome.
52 countries. And I hope that we can be in every country of the world. I hope that we can have customers in every, because that's really like, I want to go, I love when I go to like other countries and I see people, that happens by the way, you know, I see people wearing
Zephans and Co.
you know, I love it so much. Or when people send me a picture, oh, I just saw this lady on the metro, you know, I just saw this, it makes me so happy. So I just want to get to the point where, you know, we have more women wearing Zephans and Co around the world. And for me, the legacy will be that because we're a brand that really started very small, the legacy for me would be that the young Nigerian girl can see what is possible. I want a Nigerian girl to be like, because of her, I ventured into or my passion, exactly. Or I really like chased my passion. That's really my dream. I want people, I mean, I already have people like that, but I just want more people that would say, because they saw what we did with Zephans and Co, they also realized that they could do it. Because in all honesty, at the time that I was starting, I'm a big dreamer. See, I can dream up castles in my head, you know?
Amazing.
But I just really love that the things that were once a dream for me, the kind of places that Zephans and Co has taken me into are things that I once thought were not possible, you know? So I just want, and that's why I always assure people, when I see people struggling, they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, see, don't worry. There'll be a time when this thing that you're worrying about, it will not be a big deal anymore. Yeah. So for me, the real legacy is to build a brand that inspires people to try.
Fantastic. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution to African fashion.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.